Hey everybody, it's Jesse. Today we're going to build some React components. Let's see what we have so far. Since yesterday, haven't really added that much. I think I added a few more pages and some component names. I've added in some components. I'll show you what's going on. This is the React. Yeah, this is the React site. So we have a component now for this hero section, and we have a component for this nav, which is actually separate, and for this sticky nav. We also have a component for the footer. So now we need to fill in some of the other stuff. But you can see it looks nearly identical. The only big change, and I want your opinion on this. Had a meeting this morning, so yeah, I didn't get that much done between yesterday and today because today was filled up mostly with meetings and paperwork and reviewing applications, and we're actually going to hire a web developer. So if anybody's interested in that position, you have web development experience, let me know. I guess send me a message on Twitter, or I guess you put in the comments below if you're interested. But I changed, so in the meeting today, it was mentioned that we wanted more of like a cursive type font. So the font on the right is what we had, and that's the same font that we're using for the most of the H tags. And then this is the font that I'm trying out. I'm not really sure. And at this point, I'm ready to move on and not mess with fonts anymore. So if you guys have an opinion about fonts, let me know, comment, put it in the live chat. If you think there's another font that would be better, let me know. I'm trying to stick, with Google Fonts or just, some free fonts that are widely available. Basically, what I'm looking for is something similar to this, like a handwriting font that's very, I want to say kind of formal and thin. So if you have a font in mind, the one on the right's more legible, right? Okay, sorry, I was reading from the from the live chat. We have some comments that the one on the right is more legible. Yeah, I like the one on the right, but I think I'm gonna. I don't know. I might lose this one here and have to go with a font that looks more like this. So we'll see. Maybe I'll try out a couple of fonts, present them all at the next meeting, and see what people think. So I do kind of like this one, but sometimes you got to go. You can't always make all the decisions on a site. There are other people involved usually. So thanks for the input. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people like the one on the right. Okay, we have some people that do like the one on the left. Okay. All right, I'm going to move these over so I can show you more what's going on. If you weren't watching yesterday, I'll give you a quick recap. We had a static website that we built, and you just saw some of it on the screen when I showed you the different fonts. We're converting that website into a React website. We installed React yesterday locally using Next.js, which helps us install it very quickly. We got everything installed, and we actually had a page up and running in less than a half an hour. So super quick. I have links to all that in the show description. So now the task is just to convert everything. So next, I'll show you what we have here. Next has a folder for pages, and it handles all the routing for you if you put files in the pages folder. So let me show you. In this pages folder, each one of these is going to be a different page. And if I go to that page in the address bar, it'll just automatically route to that page. Very convenient. And then your components can go in whatever folder you want. I have it in a folder named Components. And that's pretty much it. Next also handles server-side rendering, which is awesome. It does a lot of other cool stuff too, and we'll probably get into more of that as we build things out. Alright, it seems like from the live chat, everybody likes the one on the right. Alright, at the next meeting, I'm going to try really hard to convince everybody that we should go with the one on the right. I think readability is probably the best reason. I do think it looks better in general. Also, it's one less font we have to load since we're already loading it. So maybe I'll come in with some Tangerine font. Hey, that's awesome. You knew what that font was. That is the Tangerine font. That's crazy. I don't know that I could just spot a font and know what it was right off the bat. So that's you have a really good eye. So somebody in the live stream knew exactly what this font was. Yeah, they're saying less font dependencies, better performance. That's what I'm thinking. So okay, I think I have some good reasons to make a case for the font that was on the right. So I'm going to try that. My next meeting, actually, so I'm going to let you guys know, next week I have meetings during my normal live stream time on Monday and Tuesday. So Tuesday will be the next meeting where we'll discuss this website. Then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'll be gone. The SyntaxCon conference in South Carolina is going to be that at the end of next week, so I will be there. I'm thinking about doing some live streams from the conference. We'll see how it goes. I'm not really sure how the Wi-Fi is going to be, so I may just do some recordings and then upload them when I get a chance to get somewhere with good Wi-Fi. But it might be cool to do some live streams. So next week is going to be kind of a weird week. Monday and Tuesday I'll just reschedule the live streams for maybe earlier in the day. I just have like so many meetings coming up next week. I don't know about you guys, but I could code all day. But you put me in a meeting for an hour and it just drains me. So I don't know what it is about meetings. All right, let's get back to this. So I want to build some components. So let's just pick out something to build. So I already have some components built, and I have other ones that I don't have built at all. So let's check out this team card. So this one's blank. This will be a nice one to build out. So let me show you what we're going to build first, and then we'll build it. And you'll see it's super easy to convert existing HTML into a component. Depending on the amount of interactivity that component has, it could be a little bit more complicated, but in this case, what we're going to do is not going to be that complicated. So let me bring this over. Okay, so if you remember, I don't know if I made these live. I don't think I made these live, but I'm pretty sure I at least showed this section. Okay, I remember. I did do a video where we made this little hide and show section. So we have these cards. At the meeting this morning, these were a big hit in the way this section works. So I was happy about that because this was kind of, the design of this was one of the most kind of made up parts. I say that as I try to follow material design mostly, but this kind of thing was not it's kind of off the path. It's not really spelled out in material design. So when I go out and get a little creative on my own like that, it's always, I don't know, it's always a little stressful for me to see, whether it's going to work or not. But in this case, it worked out, and we're actually going to convert another part of the site to use a similar system. Won't do that in this video. But this is what we're going to take. So let me find the code for this, and we'll copy it over. Yeah, someone's saying they need help with React Native. So yeah, I haven't worked with React Native yet. I watched some videos on it and read about it, and I'm super interested in it, but I haven't had an opportunity to work with it. And I should say this as well, I am no expert on React. I haven't built very many things with React. I have built sites that are live, that have launched, that are working with React, but I'm still very much learning a lot of the, kind of the React way to do things. So if you have used React, I'm sure you'll spot some things that I could be doing better. And go ahead and let me know in the comments, or let me know in the live chat if you see something that could be done better. I'll try to incorporate your suggestions. I will have a repo up for this React site soon. Right now it just exists locally. I'm actually not even tracking it with Git at this point since I just started it. But I will soon, and as soon as I put that up, I'll put the link to the new repo in the description for the video. The repo for the static site that we're converting is up. It is on GitHub, and you can check that out. So on my other screen, what you can't see, I'm just finding the code that we wrote, the markup for those little cards. For some reason, it's going a little slow, so I apologize. I'm like trying to scroll, and it's just not scrolling fast. So I don't know why. I actually went through today and closed a lot of the windows that I wasn't using, but it's still giving me a little bit of trouble. Alright, so we're going to grab, let's see, we'll grab some of this code. And actually, let me paste, just to help us out, we'll copy this section over so we don't have to type all this out. And we'll change the name. So it says class, you're going to use the name of your component in two places. Up here at the top, and then down here where you export it. So you name it here, and then you export it here. So we'll type in the name team cards. And now we'll copy in the markup. Now I'll show you. There's just a few things that you absolutely have to change or you're going to get an error. Looks like I have some weird spacing things. Why do I have weird spacing things? Alright, that looks better. Okay, so when you copy over something into React, you can't use class. You have to use class name. So I'll go through everywhere where I've used class and just put class name at the end. Okay. Also, we have to have closing tags for everything. So I'm glad this is in here. This is a good example. This image tag, let me make this bigger. I think I shrunk this down after the video yesterday to give me more space. So let me make this bigger. There we go. Okay. I'm kind of ignoring the live chat a little bit so I can get through this, so I apologize for that. I'll try to check back in a minute and see if there's any questions. Okay, I just saw one. It says nice pasting, by the way, class name. Yeah, if you're not familiar with Atom, Atom's not the only editor that can do this. A lot of other editors can. but it has this cool feature which, multiple cursors. So I highlight this, and in Atom on Mac, I press Command D, and then it just keeps going down, and now I have all these cursors. So I can type, backspace. You could even, if I had copied something, I could paste it in there, but I think the last thing I copied was all that code. If I tried to paste it now, it would be a mess. But it really comes in handy. It saves a lot of time from having to edit those by hand. You can accomplish a similar thing by find and replace, but that just is a lot quicker, at least for me. If I had like hundreds of things, I would do a find and replace. But if it's like 10 or fewer, then I use the multiple cursors. So anyway, this image tag will give me an error. So actually, let's just make it give the error first, just to show you what it looks like to get an error in React, and then we'll fix it. So first, I need to link this up. Right now, this component exists, but it's not linked up to any page. So we need to put it in a page. So the only page right now that I really have built out at all is this index page. So if we'll see here at the top, we're importing all the components that we need. I don't know if there's an easier way to import these than one on each line. If there is, let me know, because I would rather not have a separate line for every component. But you can see all I'm doing is saying here what the name of the component is, and then I'm saying where that component lives at in our file structure. So we named our component team cards. Why did I name it cards? It should be singular. What was I thinking? This is going to bug me, so I'm just going to change it real quick, because this is not going to be more than one card. This is just one card. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to rename this. Okay. Now, there we go. Okay, so now that we've imported it here, we're free to use it down here. So inside of this render function, that's where we put our HTML. So let's go ahead and throw this down below that sticky nav. And all we're going to do is just put it in an HTML tag. Team card. And remember, we have to close that out. But in this case, we're trying to get an error. So I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to bring this over. Okay, let me make this big so you can see it, because it's super small right now. Error messages in React are awesome. They're very descriptive. They tell you exactly where the error is. So it says we have a syntax error. They expected a closing tag for image, and it tells you exactly where it is. And then it actually shows you the code. So it says, basically it got to here and was confused because it didn't see what it expected to see. So we can look back right before that. We see, okay, we have this image tag, and we never close that image tag. So a lot of the times when you get an error in React, it will be pretty easy to fix it. So let's go back over here. We'll go to our team card, and let's just close this out. All we have to do is just add that slash in, and I'm going to save it and go back. There we go. Okay, so we see the team card. Right now we're not seeing the image because I need to change the image path. Okay, but it's basically the team card. The reason it looks all huge like this is because I didn't put it inside a container that's going to constrain its width. So I have to make a decision, I guess, whether I want the team card to come built in with that container, or whether I want to put in that container in the page, or maybe in another component. I guess I don't have to make that decision right now. The only reason I don't want to put the container here is I would rather have the freedom to use these cards in different size containers. So a half width container, full width, a third width of the page. Okay, I'm seeing Fabian in the live stream is putting in some stuff. I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to say, Fabian. So maybe leave a comment for me and explain it more. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left. So let's fix this. Wow, okay. I don't know why that image didn't work, actually. I had just thought that I gave it the wrong path. But this should work because it's not pointing to a local image. It's pointing to this other website. All right, I'm just going to inspect this quickly just to see. And this is kind of the point of the live stream, is to show the times where things go wrong. Because, I mean, that's more realistic. Usually in my day-to-day work, things don't work like I want them to the first time. Sometimes that happens often, and you gotta figure out what's going on. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I'll show you what I'm seeing here. I can make this a little bigger. Okay, so maybe you see something that I don't see, but this looks like it should work. Maybe I could check. I have crazy stuff going on now in the console. I'll show you. This error is coming from that sticky nav. I think this is because I keep resizing the screen, and it thinks the sticky nav should be there, and it keeps looking for it. So let me refresh to get rid of some of that, and then we can look. So you see, I have all kinds of weird stuff happening. If you guys know, I mean, some of these errors are obvious. I'm just not loading in fonts where I should be right now, which is okay. I'm not worried about that at this point. I'm getting this error here, this SW, so like service worker, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that error. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments, and that would be helpful. Otherwise, I'm going to look it up. If this just happens in development and then on production it's not a big deal, then I'm not that worried about it. Oh, okay. So when we were trying to get this thing, trying to get that image resulted in a error. The promise was rejected. Okay. I'll figure that out later on. Yeah, that's it. It says fetch event, network error response. Okay, yeah, you guys saw it before I did. So someone else named Jesse in the live stream saw that before I did. Okay, somebody asked about the dark theme in the Google Chrome console as well. And somebody mentioned React DevTools. Yeah, I do have the React DevTools installed. They are very helpful. The dark theme, if you just go into the settings for DevTools, there's a setting. You can either pick the light theme or the dark theme. Yes, hello Jesse. It's kind of weird to see my name in the stream, but that's cool. Thanks for watching. Welcome. All right, so let's see if we can get, in about 5 minutes, if we can get another component built. And maybe it might be cool to maybe make a component that imports another component. So let me see if I have one. Hero footer, map. I might just have to make a new one. Let me go back here. Components. Let's make I'm not sure if I want this to be a component. I need something like this at some point, so let's try it out. So we're gonna make section. Did I not make? Yeah, it showed up here. Okay, so I'm gonna make section a component. First, I'm gonna copy this. You see, this is pretty much how I do components. It's a lot of copying of just the boilerplate stuff, so we don't have to retype it. Okay, so you have the section component, and what I want this to do, I guess it would be faster for me to copy it. So I'm going to copy it from the other code. Okay, so I'm going to copy a lot of stuff, and then we're going to take some out. So I just want the section let's see. So I need one more. Okay. This will work. And I just want to, this is going to be kind of more like a test section. I'll probably use this at some point, but I'll have to modify it to use it in the actual site. But what I'm going to do is import that team card into this section. And let's shrink it down a little bit. Let's do M6. So this will make it 50% of the width of that container. And let's put in team card. And we need to import the team card. So I am going to copy the import from index page. Okay, I think this should work. All right, so we've saved that. Now let's go into our index page, and let's import this section. And we'll add this in right above the regular team card. Okay, so I'm going to save that. It's going to refresh, and we'll see if we have any errors. Where's my... Oh, it's over here. Okay, so it definitely worked. I'm not exactly sure why the column thing didn't work. I'm checking it out in DevTools here. So the section. You guys probably caught what just happened. I'll show you. I left in these classes. I'm actually really surprised that I didn't get any error message popping up. I probably did in my console though. So I need to put class name there. Less zoom? Is everything too big? I can shrink it down a little bit. Let me know if you think the font is too big in my editor. I think that's what you guys are talking about in the live chat. Okay, let's see if this makes a difference. Yes, there we go. Okay, so you can see now we've actually put a component into another component and then added that component into a page. And it's basically the same process all the way through. You just have to make sure you import it. You have to say where you're importing it from. And then you include it down here. Make sure you have class name instead of class, and make sure you close out all your tags. Name your component, export your component, and then when you go to put it on the page, make sure you import it again, and then just put it where you want on the page. Now this is really simple. What's going to end up happening though is at some point we're not just going to say team card. We're going to take this team card and we're going to put it like in a loop, let's say. So up here we'll actually import data from an API. We're going to use the WordPress API at some point. So all our content is going to live in WordPress. We're going to call that, and it's actually going to call it on the server, render it on the server, and it's just going to loop through and fill that data into the team cards, as much data as we have. So we're going to end up with probably 100 cards. We're going to sort them out by section, by category. But we only have to make the team card one time. So whereas before, let me see if I can show you. Let me show you the markup. It's crazy long. So the markup, I just switched over. This is the static site. So you can see for that same page where we have all those cards, this is what it looks like. That's a lot to keep track of. We don't want to have to edit that. So now to go back to React, all that has turned into this. Just one time, and then all this data is just going to be added in from the API and repeated. So we're still going to get all the cards we need that, on the client side in DevTools, we would see all those. But we don't have to mess with it all on our end. So that's kind of the one of the awesome things about React. It's not like other things can't do this. I mean, this is basic templating stuff here. But it is a nice thing, a nice advantage if you're going to use React or some other templating system over just having everything static and hand-coded. It's all right for maybe a one-pager or a small site, but if you start getting a lot of repetitive elements on the page, templating is the way to go. All right, I'm going to check the live chat real quick before we end, just see if I can answer some questions you guys might have had. So I'm going to scroll through. All right, somebody has a question. Any advice for landing a job after graduating from Full-stack Coding Bootcamp? My advice would be apply for lots of jobs, even if you don't think you meet all the requirements. Sometimes job descriptions are written by people in human resources who don't really know that much about the technology, so they're just given a list of all the different things that a person might need. They put them all on that list, not realizing how crazy it sounds, and really they don't need somebody who's an expert in all those things. So I would recommend, just apply to places, and always keep do side projects. If you can get some freelance work, that would be great, but keep building up your portfolio and for your own website, for your GitHub profile, and you'll get a job. There's a lot of developer jobs out there. So if you just keep it up, keep getting better, and keep applying, you'll get a job. I just scrolled down a little bit and I saw that somebody else said kind of the same thing. Try to pick up freelance works and contribute to projects. So I should have scrolled down a little bit more. All right, I'm getting almost to the end of the live chat. Okay, you clarified and said less Zoom on Chrome. I'll remember that for the next live stream. Yeah, 2 live streams ago, everybody said make it bigger, so now I made it too big. Somebody's asking about the time it takes to make a website. That's entirely dependent on what kind of website it is, how much content, what it needs to do. It's entirely possible to make a one-page website in a day. Depends on what you're starting with. Why are there so many coming soon challenges in freeCodeCamp? I don't actually make the challenge. I don't work on those challenges. So I'm not exactly sure. I know, they want to test them thoroughly and make sure that they're ready to go before they release them. But you're right. Yeah, somebody also said you can test the challenges on the beta site if you want to. Someone else had a question about Java on freeCodeCamp. There is no Java on freeCodeCamp. Not that I know of. And I'm not sure, somebody just asked why don't they offer it. I'm not sure why. freeCodeCamp, they focus on kind of a small set of things. So I know there's a lot of other places out there where you kind of similar to the style of freeCodeCamp, being able to do most of it in your browser and things like that. They do offer Java courses. Okay, I think I got through everything and all the questions. If I missed your question, put it in the comments and I'll get to it later on. Let me know if there's anything I need to explain more in the video, if you have any suggestions for me, if I could do anything to improve my live streams. And I will be on again tomorrow, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.